Good evening, everyone. I've got my hat on just to cover the shame. Well, out went my prediction. What did I say? I was saying 3-1, 2-0 to the Arsenal, and that didn't happen. Let's not get twisted. So I won't totally come back on myself and say that, oh, I knew this was going to happen, or we'll have seasons like this. Sorry, games like this. I don't want to say seasons like this. I don't want to prophetically curse Arsenal now. But but I'll still say yes. There's going to be games like this. I just didn't think it was going to be today. They didn't have a good preseason, and someone could point and say that this is coming up. But let's call it is. Well done to Brentford first of all. They finished their food out of the shots they had on target. They finished their food. Their first goal took a chance, wanted it. Leno, you could argue, beating a near post, strong shot, good goal. So I won't blame him. And today I'm glad to let you guys know I actually have a very, very, very good friend with me who's an Arsenal fan and will join us for the first time. Ademola, I've just
That was pathetic. That was so pathetic.
Wait.
Okay, sorry, please continue.
I've just introduced you to everybody before you came on, and you've come in all guns blazing. I was about to go into my analysis. I told everyone that I don't want to say we knew games like this would happen in the season, even though we did, but I ended up still saying that. And I was just about to say how well Brentford did before I now come to Arsenal. But you started off with that was pathetic. So I'm guessing you want to talk Arsenal first before Brentford, right?
Yeah, I'm wearing an Arsenal shirt. You're an Arsenal fan. But yeah, no, like I'll be honest, I posted into a group. I asked hands up if anybody honestly thought that we were going to win that fixture when they first saw it come out. I thought Brentford away, just got to the Premier League. I wasn't confident that we were going to do anything in today's game, if I could be honest. I wasn't confident of a result. I wasn't confident of even a draw. So I was kind of expecting that. If I could be honest, I was kind of expecting that. And also looking at how our signings have gone so far, been linked with lots of players. There was all that talk back end of last season. We're going to really go for it. We're going to spend lots of money. We're going to bring in all the players that we need. Sorry, pardon my
pause. If I jump
in there,
yeah, you're angst. If I jump in there, you can tell they've definitely been trying to bring the players in, and we have to remember this. It's been a Euro year as well. The teams that have done their business early are the teams that can afford to. So look at Barcelona, done business really early. PSG early. United early-ish. Apart from Varane, still not signed yet, trying to get that over the line. So there's been circumstances. Now, you look at Arsenal, who traditionally don't always get things done early, and it's been changing a little bit since Edu's been around. So let me land.
I'm just very patient right now. I'm just waiting for you to finish.
Okay, cool. So given who they wanted, and let's be honest, we don't know the truth of stuff because you can either go by what papers say and what things say, and unlike you'll notice that they ask someone like Pep, oh, you're linked with this guy, do you want them? So they don't really tend to ask, I missed those interviews, Arteta much. So you're linked with Basuma, do you want this person? You're linked with this person. And when you're Arsenal, because they need so much, I reckon they blatantly get linked with people because Arsenal, for me, even when we were doing good, it's just clickbait for people. Whether Arsenal's doing good or not, it's happy days for people who want to sell stories. I say all of that to say this. Let's look at who, especially in the Arteta regime, which is a short regime, they've actually bought and that they've been linked with. White came up late in the day. It's clear that given the injuries we've had and the fact that they let Saliba go again alone, that we needed something like that. Sambi Lokonga, I can't front the boy.
I thought he played well today.
I can't front him.
He did well in position.
I can see that they can't play Xhaka and Partey together anymore. So it's going to be Lokonga on one of those.
Why not Xhaka and Partey?
Because they both don't have the legs to move around. Whereas you can see that Lokonga can have the legs, and I think that's what maybe Arteta was thinking. Partey would be the legs for Xhaka, but it seems that those two both do the same thing. in the sense that Partey's not like a defensive midfielder, but he played that role-ish in an Atletico team that, apart from Real and Barcelona, they would dominate every other team in Spain. And they would play a certain way defensive when they came up against the big teams in Champions League. So you're thinking he's now going to come and do that automatically. I was like, no, he's not, because he's got soul around him. He's got much, much better players, like how Pogba had better players at Juventus, and they're thinking they get that version at United. So there's lots of factors as to why certain signings haven't worked in the past. And let's come to today. And I end with this, bro.
No, can I comment to
Yeah,
you
yeah,
on,
yeah. Go on.
on the signings? So I think with the signings, the regime has made some mistakes. So if we just look at it purely
this window, or you're looking at things
last
recently?
window, and I'll also say this window, because there's been the Euros.
Sorry, when you say last window, do you mean January or last summer?
Last summer.
Yeah, I agree.
Last summer.
Shouldn't have signed William. We shouldn't have signed
William. Initially, on the face of it, looked like a good signing, but we gave him a lengthy contract for a player that age. Chelsea weren't willing to give him that kind of contract, and we brought him in, and he scored 1 goal all season. He scored his only goal in the last game of the season.
He wasn't in the squad tonight, and he's not injured. so that's good.
So that's a mistake. I think that's an error. We've got so many players now that we want to get rid of that we can't. The likes of Torreira. There is also Maitland-Niles. So there's all these players that we want to move on.
We want to get rid of Maitland-Niles because he was in the squad.
We do. Yeah, we do.
He was in the squad tonight.
He was, but literally I know from what I've seen so far, from what I've read, they are open, and he's one of the players they would like to move on. They'd like to move him on. And what I was going to say is, might sound harsh, I'm not sure what your viewers are like, but okay, so we had the Euros. What's that got to do with the price of bread in China? It's about performance. So literally, so that was always going to happen.
I just meant that for signings, not necessarily.
Yes, I get it, but literally, as a transfer team between Edu, Arteta, and the CEO that are doing the signings, it's literally a case of, it's going to happen. Pretty much what we need. If the funds aren't there, just come out and just say it. We kind of know we know the funds aren't there anyway. But we haven't done what we said we were going to do in this transfer window. Okay. Talks of being linked with Madison for like 60 million. I think is a good player. I think he'd be a better option, in my opinion, than Odegaard, because he knows the Premiership. And Odegaard didn't really do much for me when he was on loan with us last season. So I think that'd be a good signing. But 60 million could be a bit pricey. We need the right back. We need the right back. We need the right back as well.
Yes.
I
think they're being priced out for a right back, and that's why they're not biting. Because obviously PSG weren't in for Hakimi, but decided to come in, and there was only going to be one person he was going to go to, Arsenal or PSG.
We've been linked with other right backs. We also need a goalkeeper. So literally, we've got some serious work to do with that team. Yeah. Serious work. We've got a relatively new recruitment team that have made mistakes. And maybe they're now a bit gun shy with some more signings. Pepe, I still think
he's
wow, that was 75 million. We were basically done over with that guy.
Imagine if they decided to force Palace to take the deal that we did for Leo in paying in installments for Zaha. I reckon if they really did that, they would have got it. But just look at who was the recruitment team then.
Yeah.
And even in Wenger's time, it's the same thing. We're going to need a lot. And we know it can't go in one window. Arteta, if they're going to stick with him like they did with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, is going to need several windows. And I hope they do, just for stability's sake. But let me share something with you about the window. So they spent 50 million. They spent, how much was Lokonga? 15, so that's 65. Tavares was what?
75 million so far.
75. So that's not too gun shy, given the fact they bought 3 people and we know they're going to still buy. Now, whether it's this 150 that was mooted, and press will always overhype stuff.
Sure.
I do think they are serious about Martinez, and not because they want to move over on, but they've seen a window. The fact that Inter want to sell, the fact that where he was going to Barcelona couldn't buy him, the fact that Real not going to buy him, the fact that all the other big guys don't need him. City, they could choose Martinez, but they decided not to. They're going for Kane.
Mm.
Um, Bayern don't need him. Dortmund certainly can't afford him. All the other big guys or traditional big clubs, and obviously Chelsea didn't want him. They wanted Lukaku. So what makes it difficult to get Martinez now is that if you're going to get him, you're going to go for crazy money. And Arsenal, even though they can spend the crazy money, will not want to do that now, because you need to understand that these teams, they send out a message when they start dropping stuff. So let me give you an example. City spend 100 mil on Grealish because they know they need that type of a player, and there's a buyout clause. They're going to do that. They are prepared to spend the 127 for Kane, but I don't think they're going to spend anything more than that or stupid money for him. So
Mm.
they'll have their cut off. So Arsenal's eating down, lower down the food chain. I can see why they haven't tried to bite the hand off OR and try and sign him from Lyon, because he didn't have such a great season. And like we've said, Arsenal signed some players whereby they thought there was promise and didn't work out. Here's why I think Odegaard or Madison can work. Odegaard has had 6 months. Every player needs time, especially young players, to bed in to the system of a new league. He's come from Spain. He's come to this. I agree with you. Madison would be the better option. He already knows the league more. But we know that Leicester are eaten above the chain from us at the moment. The fact that Madison wants to come to us just shows that, or there's an interest, and I reckon there is from him, shows that, we still have that clout and can still attract. But Leicester, they're in no dire need to sell, and if they want to push on and try and break into that top four, which is what they want, they know they can't bring anybody in to replace him. They know they're certainly not going to be able to get ESR or any of our guys that are leading that's coming up now, because they're looking at this as either their launch pad. These players, let's be honest, ESR and Saka are looking at us as launch pads now, or saying, hey, if it works out and we come back to the top table again, great, because we're at a traditionally big club. We've been here all our life and it works out. So I do think they'll bring in, possibly it's looking like Odegaard now because Leicester are saying no. I think early on in the
I think
window,
Leicester would sell, but we got to make the valuation.
that's the thing. But
And I
because
think Madison
we
would
were
sign
already
as
burnt
well.
with, he would sign. But listen here, because we're already in a way burnt with Ben White, he's not worth 50 million. But that's the British
He can't
tax,
hit
right?
that. I just saw his stats today. The guy, his heading ratio is less than 50% for a centre back. I'm like, what?
That's going to be a problem because teams
What did
are
we
going
just
to put the
do?
ball in the air against Arsenal. So it's either you're going to rely
Wow.
on Gabriel to do the heading, or when Saliba comes back, he'll now become the right back, and that would just sound like Arsenal to be budget. But we're not a Liverpool that can afford to put someone like who did they put at left back before Robertson came? Milner at left back, he's a seasoned pro.
Yeah.
Ben White is not a seasoned pro. But I'm saying all of these things to show that they don't want to be taken for a ride with their money. I heard they were in for Max Aarons. They put in a bid for Sergino Dest. He turned them down. Barcelona or go to Arsenal. Can you blame him? He's going to stay there. So well done for being ballsy for going to Sergino Dest, because obviously Barcelona need to sell players, and Barcelona were willing because they just bought a new right back as well. And Sergino Dest didn't necessarily light up La Liga last year, so they're considering, hey, if we lose an asset, this is something that we can get a little bit of a profit from, even if it's just 10 million euros. And I'm coming to my end to let you come have the mic back again, Ade, before we go to the game. We're dealing with the transfers, but it's all part of how we got to today's game, for everyone watching. Thanks for watching RBN YouTube channel. We're talking all things Arsenal. I've got Ademola here, a fellow Gooner with me today. So I think that they're trying to be careful, like how they got Tavares for a good deal, how they got Lokonga for a good deal. They're trying to do that again, but it might not just happen. They may, as you're saying, just need to come and break the bank, because what's going to happen is that should this carry on, you're going to get Daniel Ek coming in again and making the noises that I want to buy, I want to buy, I want to buy, that I'm going to splash the cash. I'm going to splash the cash. So we're actually seeing these guys splash the cash a bit now because they having pressures outside, and we know that's the nature of the beast. I would love them to get Max Aarons, but Norwich are in the Premier League now. Max Aarons would definitely come because Norwich, Arsenal, hello. but it makes it more difficult now because Norwich won't find a replacement unless Arsenal try and buy it this week. But I think he's gone because Norwich are going to try and make Arsenal pay silly money for him, which I don't think they should do. And last one, whether, you know, and I think Oba will stay, even if Oba does that, I think they do need to buy a striker. I don't think Abraham is the choice, and I hope they don't do that. Chelsea signings haven't really worked for us. And as much as Abraham is a prospect, I don't think we should be getting a prospect.
Czech was decent for us.
First season, but the other seasons didn't really work out.
Yeah, no.
So I think they should break the back. I mean, getting someone like a Martinez now that Lukaku's gone, I think it's very, very hard to get Martinez unless
Inter about
they should
administration.
They are. Then they should go and break the back. Because if Tottenham of all people are trying to sign Martinez, whether Kane goes or not, he's certainly going to choose Arsenal over Tottenham. Or won't he? Am I too confident?
I think he will. We still have that pulling power. I don't even want to talk about today's game. I think
the
signings gives the context for the game and for our season.
Yes.
And I like to think about what's really going on behind the scenes that we're not told. And I think it's really clear when we look at KSC, so Kroenke's, Stan Kroenke's organization, his group.
Yeah.
That's our problem.
That is our problem. There's no doubt about it. You're a coach and you're a mindset coach and not just wearing hats in terms of performance and improvement and development. If management doesn't have it right, there is no way that we are going to be able to push further. And I think until these guys, until these guys leave or change, we're going to face this because we can say Arteta should have, brought on, should have put Pepe on the left so that he can, he's done better there and kept Saka on the right. And things like that. That's all good and well in an in-game management. But if you look at the chances, they missed some chances today. And this is like their trend, not finishing stuff off. ESR had that run that he had, on another day, better composure or just getting there a bit more, shooting it or even scuffing it a bit more, might dive a little bit more to the right and not so close to the keeper. You've got Martinelli's header. Maybe that goes a certain way and hits the post. So all these ifs and buts, but it's just like a general trend. And this, like if a team is used to behaving a certain way, when they get in those positions, if they're not confident or they need to hit a type of stride or things to go a certain way, they'll carry on doing that. So I think those are the things that need to change. That trajectory of almost nearly, because you could.
Yeah.
Over Laka could have been there. They could have missed those same chances today. They could have missed those same chances.
Yeah. Do you know what? We got lot of work to do. The ideal scenario would be to get Kroenke to sell and to get him out of our club completely. That would be the perfect scenario. I think if we're really looking at it, we've got to be aware of the landscape of football is changing. Real Madrid, Barcelona, Juventus, they're in trouble financially, basically.
Yeah.
And the clubs that are able to sustain it right now are the ones that are backed by states. Simple. PSG, Man City.
Yeah.
Or like very wealthy billionaire owners.
But then you've also got well-run clubs like Leicester, like Villa, like Bayern Munich in Germany.
So, but even then, they're still backed. Bayern have a slightly different setup. Leicester have a billionaire backer that's willing to spend. Villa have a millionaire backer that's willing to spend. So we have a billionaire backer that's not willing to spend.
Very true.
So that's the gap. And we've got to be aware, the people that want to take over Newcastle, we have to, in a way, pray that doesn't happen. Because that's basically that's the Saudi state that wants to take over Newcastle.
And that would take away, signings the week.
They change their mind and say, hey, what's this Arsenal club doing what about this Arsenal club in North London? We have to hope for that. Because if that happens for Newcastle, mate, we're gonna have the Saudis. The Saudis are more wealthy than the Qataris. And the other ones.
I've been looking. Sorry, Ade. Before we come, because we do need to talk about the game a little bit more. But there's been a lot of context, everyone, as you guys will watch this, and it's all relevant. But I always look for my chance to take shots. That's one of the things I think that doesn't make Arsenal attractive. And I'm going to say it honestly, AFTV. you need to look at a brand, right? And I'm sure every club has
I
their
disagree with
version
that,
of
by
an
the way.
AFTV.
But
Pardon?
continue. I
Sorry?
disagree with that one, but keep on
Really?
going.
Oh, that's what.
Yeah.
Oh, we might actually need to have a separate broadcast where we talk about that. I think as much as that brings attention and stuff like that, don't you think there's some investors that look like, fair enough, this traditional powerhouse club, but that AFTV there, I really don't want them around anything, and I probably don't want to have to deal with them, so I'll stay away from Arsenal. Don't you think about that? Couldn't some possible owners be thinking that, or that's me being too small-minded?
I don't think so. I think
Because for me, they're a problem. They're a problem.
everyone's entitled to their perspective. I don't share that. I think if somebody's a serious investor, that's not going to be an issue for them.
I
And you
hear.
can look at it that it also shows the passion that people have for the club. It shows that passion. And I'm also looking at Robbie and AFTV and what they've done. Okay, so it's also a business model, and
It
there is a
is.
market for it. There's a market for it.
It is.
Um,
There is one. I won't
even
deny that.
even fans that are not Arsenal fans, they can't wait for AFTV. I bet you they're tuned on to
Oh,
AFTV right
100%.
now because Arsenal have lost.
100%.
So no,
Definitely.
I don't think that will stop somebody investing in the club, actually buying the club, and I think there's a market for it. But I think the real thing is, yeah, we need to get a new owner. We need to literally move that on and get people that are passionate about the club. I know what the club is about.
But the truth of the matter is, let's be honest, he has seen off many potential investors or people joining before. And I think he's going to see off Daniel Ek as well. It's going to take a serious miracle to do that. He's not going anywhere. This is
He's a
what
businessman. If he gets the right offer, he'll sell. He's looking for the right
very
true.
true. Very true. So then it's a case of
how he's run all his clubs, his franchise in the US. So his ice hockey team, his basketball team, his NFL team, they don't normally compete. So his teams, I think it was his ice hockey team that won. I think they won the Stanley Cup like last year. That was the
last
first
year, you
time.
sure?
Yeah, that's the
Oh, I need
first
to
time
check
they
that out.
won something
And
in
the
about
Rams
50
2 years
years.
ago went to the Super Bowl. First
Yeah,
time.
and that was the worst Super Bowl final in a long time. It was attritional, terrible. So his teams normally do not compete.
Yeah.
They're just there to
Make money.
skim off the top. It's an investment. Look,
Yes.
I don't mind investment, but if you're going to invest in crypto, property, but not Arsenal. Leave Arsenal alone. Go and do your investment, but just
You see, we're being fans. We're being fans. Nobody was brave enough like Stan to move in and take over and get it done like he did. So you can't blame him. It's his money.
Usmanov was ready, but the mistake was we brought him in thinking that he was going to be another Abramovich. So it was actually David Dean that brought him in. That brought him into the club, and we were excited that this guy could be our Abramovich because the game changed when Abramovich took over Man City or took over Chelsea. Completely different game, but he hasn't proved to be that, and he brought.
Well, he was trying to, but Kroenke got there ahead of him. Kroenke got there ahead of him because he was in the club before Kroenke came in.
What? Usmanov?
Usmanov was around before Kroenke came in.
Didn't know
So
that.
they just didn't move aggressively enough because obviously all the old guys were there, and I think because David Dean was there, he didn't want to do anything aggressive in terms of saying that it was one of you've got the funds, let's just get it done now. Because not many people were being taken over then. It's more of a trend now. So let's come back to the game. For me, first goal, well done, Brentford. Could have done better again, and it's these silly mistakes. It's just same again. Defensive bad clearance, and you get taken care of. The throw in. I mean, Leno, they definitely do need the keeper, and I think one of the reasons why they haven't signed the Ramsdale guy is that Sheffield United are trying to make Arsenal pay over the odds, and you got to think to yourself: did they now become that team that just folds over because this is a relegated team, mind you, and yes, he was in the England squad, but unlike White, who was touted to maybe perhaps play, he was nowhere near playing. So they can't be expecting us to pay £32 million for a keeper that may need to be an understudy for 3 months before he finally takes over Leno, because he's not going to walk in the team unless Arteta really wants to do a number and just take Leno's place straight away. That would only have happened if someone seriously came in for an offer for Leno, and I think they'd listen and they'd sell. So there's a lot there. And obviously the right back, I think they definitely need to buy one now, because as much as Chambers did do a decent job in the last, I knew he wasn't the long-term solution.
Nope.
It would be
Nope.
nice to think that perhaps he'll put Ben White there till we buy someone and bring Holding back, because Holding, for me, has done a decent enough job to still keep his place.
They want to sell him as well.
They want to sell Holding. I guess they have to, because at the end of the day, if you're looking long term, um, you would think that White was going to be pretty much fit for the rest of the season and won't get injured. It's a big call to want to sell him, because if White takes the niggle or is suspended and that, you don't have a Holding to come on, unless you're looking at some of the guys in the academy. You're saying you're going to bring Chambers back there because you don't want to sell him, so that makes sense. Chambers aren't Holding, as defenders are roughly around the same level, but you'd say Holding's more there because he's been playing at Arsenal more. So I could see why they might want to sell him. You can't just keep on having a top heavy squad. So that's how I think for the goals, where the goals were concerned. Bad defensive mistakes, but it is just what happened. I'm mindful that you do have to shoot off soon. What are your predictions for next week? At home to Chelsea, I'm guessing, right? Is it a draw? Is it another tanking from Chelsea?
They've got Lukaku back in his first
His first game.
Chelsea.
Yeah.
Lukaku is a bully.
Yeah.
They can go long to him. They can pass the feet into the channels. It's not looking good, man.
And they got City after that. City might work with their first or second game. You can't expect City to work with the third game. It could be the first 10 games could be deep for Arteta if he doesn't get some points on board. Because at the Emirates.
I think if we look at, this is the first season in a while where I don't have much expectation. I haven't thought about, top 4. I haven't thought about, we're going to definitely be competing. This season, I haven't even considered that. And I can't remember the last time.
What about last season? I didn't consider top 4 last season.
Last season, I just kind of thought, we won the FA Cup season before. Maybe we could do something.
We were here with Wenger, though, guys. Remember, the team winning the cup.
Maybe we could do something.
Like Chelsea winning the Champions League.
It was. We finished 9th. in the league. Wow.
Listen, I know Chelsea are in a better shape this season than they were last season, and they are. But them winning that Champions League and they're champions of Europe, that's what the trophy says. That's what the records say. But think about it. It was a one-off game. Yes, they beat City a lot and had City's number. But when you look at it in total, City of 38 games in the English League were better than Chelsea.
Yeah, they were. And the Champions League, that doesn't matter. Champions League is a cup competition.
Exactly. And that's the point I'm trying to make. That cup run that Arsenal have had in the past, it doesn't have any bearing on your bread and butter, which is the league. So we can't use the FA Cup.
If it's the Champions League, you take it. If it's a scrappy, deflected goal, you win the Champions League, you take that.
No. You take the trophies. I'm just saying you can't use the fact that they won the FA Cup as an indication that, they might get top 6, they might get top 4 this season. So
you can't compare FA Cup to Champions League. But I get your point. But I just thought in its first, it was half a season, and we did that. I thought, there's hope. And it's the hope that gets you as an Arsenal fan. It's just that, could we? Maybe.
It's the hope. The hope that kills us.
I reckon after 10 games,
come
back and talk to me. I'll know more.
10 games is what I'm giving Arteta. I would love the whole process, but I just think from where it's not like with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at United, whereby even though there were tough times, there was a squad enough to kind of like pull them out to a certain thing. Arteta doesn't have that buffer. He's still trying to clear stuff, and we all know what it's like in a club, in a changing room. Like you said, you've got an 80 Maitland-Niles. You had a Willock who wanted to go. Now he's gone. You got Kolasinac. You got Bellerin who wants to go. So that's 3 people I mentioned. You've got Willian who's hanging around on big wages, and other people looking at it.
Killing off us. Willian is just literally he is.
So that's 4 players.
The Arsenal fan, he's just literally. He's gone to the club. He's getting. How much is he getting a week? About 200K?
Let's not even do that. Let's round up, because we got people watching. Let's give them a reason to come back.
I'm just thinking, what is Willian doing? He's just literally taking us all for an absolute joke, isn't he?
Well, it's not his fault. It's the people who are in league with Kia Joorabchian. He's the one that got us Martinelli, and all of a sudden we think because he got us Martinelli, he's just going to be bringing the best of Brazil or the best of South America. And it doesn't work like that. He's only got one. But and unfortunately, just one word about Folarin Balogun. Lonely night for him up top. Especially like this. ESR, though he can do it, he needs at a minimum a Saka next to him. And you notice that when Saka did come on, ESR came more live because you need partnerships in football games. That's why, defenders partnerships, fullback a partnership with the right wing or the left wing ahead of them. Same with ESR as a 10. He still needs that person that he can feed off. And obviously, for Larry Balogun, you know, yes, he's older than Saka, but in terms of experience in the league, that was a
Yeah,
tough game for him today. But he'll come again, and I hope he may not get his chance to start next week, but he'll probably get a chance to come on from the bench next weekend, and I do see a big future for him. But my prediction for next week, a loss against Chelsea. I don't know how big it's going to be. I hope I'm wrong. But they did beat Chelsea twice last season. Chelsea battered them, and they still got the win. And I
yeah,
just feel that they at least put in one of their shots today, but it's one of those that happens. There we go. But positives were Lokonga. Definitely ESR gave something. Pepe
yeah.
for me is Pepe will have a good 15 minutes. He can't last 90 minutes in the Premier League. Maybe he needs to go to a team, if it were the Premier League, that will play to his strengths. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't see Arsenal renewing his contract. He's got one more year after this year.
What, Pepe?
Yeah, Pepe signed for 4 years. I'm glad they did that. I'm
Oh,
glad they did
okay.
that.
I
It's
mean,
four
but
years.
then again, it'd be good to get some funds for.
Sometimes you just got to cut your losses.
Fair enough. But the
Honestly,
thing
who
about
really
Pepe,
wants to
like
buy Pepe
me,
if not on the
I don't
cheap?
really enjoy is that when he gets the ball, he tends to slow the game down.
This is it. Play him to his strengths. When he plays from the left, because he doesn't have time to come onto his right and do something. He's more direct and positive when he's there.
Mm.
So I would either play him from that left or down the middle as they did, whereby he was getting those shots. If you look at where he does most of his best stuff, it's through the middle or coming from that left side, because he just has to think about only left foot and then product. Whereas when he needs to come back on it, he's doing too much.
Yeah, he's
And
just too
he
many
can't hold
touches.
players up because he's not strong enough.
Just slows it all down. Yeah, so yeah, we've got lots
Yeah,
of
so
work to do. So let's see.
that's
My wife corrected me as well. So Willian is not making a killing off us. Is just literally he's doing what he's doing at Arsenal, and they've signed him for this contract, and he's having a field
They
day.
tried to. They told him he can go, but nobody wants him. And if
Nobody
he goes
wants him.
somewhere, it is what it is. We're stuck again, like we were
Right.
stuck with all the other lot. We're stuck again. But thank you, everyone, and thank you, Ade, for being with us. Appreciate your
Cool, man.
time.
See you again soon, man.
We will be back here next week. We'll let you know at some point to preview the game against Chelsea. Gonna have to watch some Chelsea highlights, see what shape they're in. Even though we played them pre-season, we kind of know. But it's gonna be a deep few games. But we're still here.
Yeah.
Arsenal through and through. All things Arsenal. Thank you for watching. Do like, share, and subscribe to the RBN YouTube channel. Thank you, Ade, for being here with us. And we'll
Pleasure.
see you guys soon. Take care.
Alrighty. Bye-bye, Gooners.
Bye bye, Gooners.